So over the next few minutes, I'll be showing you how to use the investment cash flow module in my value add apartment acquisition model. Now here I'm using beta version 040 of the value add apartment acquisition model. The version you're using may be newer, but the core functionality remains the same. So what we'll do is we'll head over to the underwriting tab. Just go ahead and click this investment cash flow button, and that will take us to the investment cash flow section. Now in your standard DCF, the investment cash flows are your negative cash flows in your DCF, right? So in a standard acquisition, that would be one big negative value in time zero. In the case of a true value add deal, you have that one negative cash flow in time zero, the acquisition, and then some string of negative cash flows from period one through to the end of, say, a renovation or capital improvement program. And that's when you're renovating units, renovating amenity space, common area, such that you can raise the rents in the project and achieve some higher value than what you paid in time zero. So what the model has for you are just some sections. The acquisition cost section here, a hard cost section here, soft costs, and then financing costs. And you have the ability to add or delete line items within each of these sections. So let's say that within the hard costs, beyond renovation costs and other renovation costs, we wanted to add, say, parking lot repair. So we just come here, click add item. A macro runs behind the scenes, adds another line item to this section, and then we can just type in where it says item, parking lot repair. Okay. Now let's say that we don't want one of these line items. Just go ahead and click delete item. That's going to delete the bottom item. It actually deletes one line up from the bottom. I apologize. So parking lot repair. And now we have our three line items within hard costs. Now, purchase price, we really only need purchase price and closing costs. So let's delete 1, 2, and we're left with purchase price and closing costs. And then soft costs, we're happy with A&E, construction management, and permitting. And so otherwise, we'll delete those last few items. And so now we have our line items set up for acquisition, hard costs, soft costs. The next thing we're going to want to do is determine the way that we forecast those costs, right? So in what period does that cost item begin? Do we begin spending money on that cost item? And then in what period do we end spending money on that? And so in the case of purchase price and closing costs, that all starts and begins in time zero. So we just make the start month and the end month for each of these to 0. Our renovation costs here start in month 1. And let's say that it goes over a 3-year period. So we change that to month 36. And then other renovation costs, let's actually change this to common area upgrades. And let's say that happens from month 1 through month 12. So the first year of our analysis, we're going to complete all of those common area upgrades. And then parking lot repair, that happens over the first 3 months of the analysis period. Next, we move to soft costs. Well, we have 36 months of total renovation. So let's just go ahead and assume that architecture and construction management start in month 1 and end in month 36. We do that. Permitting, let's say that happens in month 1 and ends in month 1. And then our GP fee will go month 1 through 36. And then finally, we have financing costs. And this, we're going to assume, right, these are our costs related to acquiring the loan for the acquisition of this property. We're going to assume that all happens in month 0, time 0. Next, we have the method. All right, this is the forecast method. And you have 3 options: straight line, an S-curve, or on a normal distribution curve, or detail. For our purchase price, it really doesn't matter because it all happens in time 0. So we'll just leave those straight line. Renovation costs, let's go ahead and leave on an S-curve Parking lot repair, though, let's set that to straight line. And that will be an even amount spent over month 1, month 2, month 3. And then common area upgrades will also S-curve that. Next to soft costs, we'll go straight line on architecture, construction management, permitting, and then GP fee we'll leave straight line as well. Financing costs, it doesn't matter because they're both in month 0. Finally, we enter the budget. So we'll assume a $65 million purchase price. Let's assume closing costs that are 2% of our purchase price. So I create a formula here, but really this is an input cell. So we could either enter a hard-coded value or enter a formula that arrives at our assumption amount. Next, we have renovation costs, and we're going to assume here that we'll spend $15,000 per unit. Now, there's a named cell called units. So I'll enter units and I'll multiply that by 15,000. And that will now automatically set our renovation costs to 15,000 per unit, such that when we model our operating cash flow, if we change the number of units, this cell will dynamically change. Common area upgrades. Let's assume that we have 20,000 square feet of common area, and we're going to spend $125 a foot, or $2.5 million. And then our parking lot repair, we've been told that will be $250,000. Now, what you'll notice out to the right, as we have entered our hard costs, that parking lot repair happens straight line. So an equal amount in each period, starting in month 1, ending in month 3. For our renovation cost, watch what happens, right? Begins small and it grows over time, such that at the end of our 36-month period, it gets back to small again. All right, so it's that normal distribution of those costs. Now, I recognize in a true value add deal, you're likely going to be renovating a certain number of units per month, and so an S-curve doesn't necessarily make sense. So while I entered that there for visualization purposes, let's now set this to straight line. And that allows us to straight line a set amount per month for those renovation costs. However, common area upgrades, I think, do make sense on an S-curve. It's one project, happens over 12 months. We start out small, scales up in the middle of the project, and then scales back down towards the end. And then finally, soft costs. The only thing we have is permitting. Let's say that's $20,000. Otherwise, we will leave our architecture, construction management, and permitting the same. And then GP fee, what I have done by default is left a formula in here that takes acquisition costs, hard costs, and soft costs excluding GP fee, and it hits it with a 2% fee. And then out here to the left, this tells us what that fee is. Now we can change this, so we come in here and let's just do equals. Let's say we have a flat GP fee of $1.5 million. Now here to the right, it still says 2%. It's because that's 2.03%. So we can kind of see what percentage it is as we open those decimal points. But there we have our GP fee, and that is being distributed to the GP straight line over the 36-month renovation period. And then finally, financing costs. This would be based on our debt amount. Here we have, what do we have? A senior loan, $45.5 million, a junior loan of $3.8 million. And so maybe what we do is we go equals 45.5 times, let's say 1% on the senior loan, and then 3.8 million, and we'll do 2% on the junior. That gives us 531 in financing costs. Those all come out in time 0. And so that's using the investment cash flows section. Let me know if you have any questions, either in the comments or shoot us an email. Otherwise, thanks for your time today.